Hari Om and
Hari Om.
welcome. I'm here with Devananda. He is such a beautiful divine soul, and he is giving us his time to share beautiful message, inspirational message, and we hope that it can help you in some way or maybe help someone in their life, in their spiritual life, spiritual growth, and developing a joyful life filled with peace, filled with happiness. So that is our prayer and our wish. What do you think, Devananda?
Yeah, yes, always trying to give something.
Yes. So today we were going to talk about emotions and the importance of connecting with our emotional being, because we are a physical being, but we also have the mind, the emotions, the intellect. We also have a spiritual being. We have different aspects of our whole being that is very important to take care of, especially our emotions. Emotions are an integral part of our overall well-being, and taking care of our emotions is very important. What do you think, Devananda?
I'm thinking very different than I used to think years ago.
Emotions, right?
I'm learning to take care of them.
Yes. So, my question to Devananda was about being a male, right? Personally, myself, in my practice, the majority of the people who come are women, are female. But there is a small minority that are male, are men. And I love when they come, because that means they are wanting to take care of themselves and they are wanting to reconnect with their overall well-being, to have that well-being, to connect with the emotions, the spiritual aspect, the mind, to understand how they can nourish themselves. So I love having Devananda here because he can also talk his perspective, being a man, and how he connected with his emotions and how he understood that men also have emotions and it's important to take care of that, right? What do you
Oh
think?
yeah, I'm also learning to reconnect to my emotions as um, in the previous generations, as everybody know, man, strong, man, don't cry, man,
Yeah.
don't feel this or that. And it's the waste of time, because we're same human beings here. Uh, and as I was saying on the previous talk we had, talking to a man in his 50s, and he's saying, I grew up with that, no crying, no nothing. He's like, what is that about? He realizes that he's just denying himself totally by doing that. And when we have to start seeing that, of course, it's also not super simple for me, because a lot of time went by without, when I put aside so many sides of myself, my aspects. And now it's kind of relearning to deal with some aspects. And but it's, I think this is giving love to itself. It's loving the self also. But I feel glad that I am getting aware that, we also spoke about resistance, where the man is so used to resist looking at the emotions and all that. I was scared of actually looking at situations because I would feel, and that's denying myself. So after a while I start realizing actually there's nothing to fear. It's many times men also are the strong because just don't know how to look at, and feel. And I felt scared of feeling some things, and it's actually just resistance. And I feel it's becoming easier and easier to accept, to look into it, and accept that we have feelings.
This is important. And Devananda, you have 3 children, 3 beautiful children.
Yes.
You have 2 boys and 1 girl.
They definitely.
How are you helping them to connect with their emotional being too?
I think a better question is how they are helping me.
Oh, yes.
Because, well, I just know this is natural. When I realized I was gonna raise those kids, and I had to come to my center and be the best I can be for them and for me, so they can be the best for them too. They learn to be that. So, and in order to be that best, I cannot ignore many things. So many things that I put aside in the past, now I have to look into. I want to look into. And every time I do it, I realize there is nothing to fear to look into it. As we accept that we also fail, we learn with the experience. When I denied that I fail, when I denied, I didn't learn with it. So when I accept it, it's kind of easier. And I think that's it has a little bit with the ego, not getting the ego hurt. So as we men deny a lot and resist a lot, we actually feed the ego doing this way, right? So when we accept and we go through feelings and whatever, cry or accept that, oh yeah, I failed this time, oh yeah, I learned to be more humble, I learned to see the good in my family, my wife, accepting that I was learning with her, she was actually teaching me something. So yeah, I think it, sometimes it takes guts to be a man, because you gotta look into all this. But
and that's where the real guts come in, when
yes,
you look in.
Yes. But it's rewarding. It is rewarding, and it is positive. It brings growth. It brings more strength. I think the strength is in the peace. Is strength in the confidence that I can look into it. I can face it. I can deal with it. So, yeah. Back then, with resistance, it was hard. It was hard to see things and go into no. Ignore. It was easier to ignore some things, but now I can face a lot of more things, just with more tranquility.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I have another question for you, Devananda. Have your children ever see you crying?
Yeah, they have seen me cry.
What do they say?
What they say, I think they went to ask mommy what happened. I don't remember a specific situation, but yes, I used to avoid crying in front of them at all, of course, 100%. Yeah, I would avoid it. Yeah.
Because it would make you weaker?
Yeah, I will feel weaker, yes. But of course now I'm not gonna go after them to cry, but I don't hide it, if I have to cry, I don't hide it. And they will come and ask me. Yeah, there were situations when they come and ask me, and I don't lie,
Mm-hmm.
I think I realized something, that if I lie to them, they know, because they feel it's not right. As kids, any kid can get in one lie. But if I tell the truth, it makes it easier for them to see that dad goes through some things, and even dad can cry or feel, a weakness about something, but he's facing. When we tell the truth, is actually we're not denying, we're facing it, right? And that's, I think, is empowering for them.
Yes, it absolutely is.
I have seen in family and when I was growing up, and this denial, it doesn't empower us, because we're like, okay, so obvious there is a problem. We want to know how the person that we look up to would deal with it, so we can learn as well. So if we are facing it, we learn to face it. So
It's absolutely
makes sense?
correct. Yes, very beautiful. So it's empowering, definitely, to show the children that they have emotions as well.
Yeah.
Not to hide, to listen, to even probably to pause, right?
Mm-hmm.
To pause and what are you feeling? How does it make you feel? Because certain behaviors, it triggers certain behaviors in them as well. But importantly is that you also learn from them, because they are emotional beings. They are very pure divine soul, so they reflect that purity, and if they don't like something, they will say it, or they will feel it, they will express it. It's just that when we start maturing, that we start blocking that with our ego. Our ego is the one that's trying to serve like a barrier, protective barrier. I don't want suffering, I don't want pain. Like someone's angry at you and you try to put the wall and burst out in anger and reflect that anger. But in the end, that is not helpful. What is helpful is reflecting, observing. Why am I going to behave in their reflection the same way they're reflecting? Like you said, you can be that light for someone else too. You can change the perspective of how someone else is feeling, instead of having them affect you.
And they also help me, because they are very spontaneous with their feelings and what they're thinking, and they're very articulated in this aspect that I was not. I was to hold and just try to figure out things to be right. And they help me in this aspect, remind me how we have emotions and feelings and reactions, as long as we have a certain degree of how we're gonna react. But it's they help me a lot. Also, every time I see I recognize that love for them, I want to be the best of myself and the best they can help me, and then be a better example for them. Yes. And definitely I went through a lot of hiding emotion, but I started realizing that doesn't feel right, and for them must not feel right. So that's how they help me. Yeah.
My last question: if there was a man sitting next to you in the airport, and he started just crying, older man, and just crying, and you were sitting next to him, what would be your reaction, or what would you do?
Next to me, I'm crying. I think I would I'll ask him something. Hey, you wanna share anything?
No, just open anything. So you would ask him something. Yeah, this is just a very free, very open talk. Anything. What would you do?
Yeah, I think I will ask if he wanted to share.
Okay, yeah. And maybe, I don't know, let him finish crying.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's
Yeah.
part of us, right?
Nothing, maybe, yeah, after he cries and ask if he wanted to share. I learned one thing recently that has this incredible power. And I learned that with Dr. Clint. One day there is a call going on with some people that would coordinate some groups, and I'm watching my wife on that call, on that Zoom call, but I'm around it and I see he's talking to a girl that was in the war zone. She's in Middle East or somewhere, and she's sharing some events that are happening. They're very traumatic for her. She's a young girl, 16, 17 years old, and those events were very recent, and he was demonstrating a way to listen, how to listen to someone. And the girl would describe what was happening, how she was feeling, and he will go and say, okay, I understand you're feeling this. I understand you were being through this. What she just said, he will repeat. And in that moment, when they stopped talking, because she would describe and then he would repeat back. She would describe and he would repeat back. I understood that you're feeling this. I understood that you've been through this. That's what I heard from you. So at the end, she describes that she has a very, she's feeling much lighter. And this makes all the sense to me, because when we share something that we are going through, usually we want to help the person and give a solution. But that solution, it kind of try to avoid that feeling in a way. The message that sometimes get in is that we're not heard. But that technique that he showed, I already applied with my kids. And there was a time that one of my kids would crying. Nobody could stop him crying, and I went there and I did the same thing. So when he shared what he's crying for, I would just, okay, I understand that you're crying because of this. And then I zip. I don't say anything else. So when we're crying, and someone comes and just acknowledge that, it helps that dissolve. It helps that dissipate. Now, when we're trying to fix the situation, we're in the mental, we're not listening to the feelings. We're just trying to, so makes the person go in the mental and get out of the feelings. So that's my understanding, my perspective about this. So in this case, I will ask the man if he would like to share something and probably talk the same way I just described.
Beautiful. Compassionate communication.
Yeah.
Compassionate listening. I think that is, and compassionate speaking, because we are engaging the senses there, and it's very important. Like you said, I think that is so beautiful, such a beautiful message. Listening with compassion, with non-judgment, not criticizing, just know and understand that they are having their own experience, right? And there's something that they have to learn from. Like you said, not to give the solution, because also giving the solution is not going to help them.
Mm-hmm.
You may know the solution, you may know the right answer, but even giving the solution to that person, they're not going to understand.
Mm-hmm.
And giving the solution to them is going to weaken them, because they need to grow. So it is for their growth, for their upliftment, for their knowledge to learn what they have to learn in that situation. And that is why difficulty comes. And I say, welcome. Remember? Always welcome.
Yes.
Bring it on. Bring it on. I'm ready. Because we are going to learn. We are going to grow. And this is going to be a beautiful process. This is life. And enjoy it. When difficulties come, yes. It's a challenge to see if you are really practicing. And if you are improving in your spiritual path. Because sometimes when you go back, that means that you are moving forward as well. On the spiritual path, you go back 2 steps, you move forward 1, and then you go back 3, and this is that you're learning that there is some improvement in your life, and that you are learning, and that you are growing, right? It's beautiful. So compassionate communication, compassionate listening, compassionate speaking, and just being gentle and connecting and uplifting that person, definitely. Because when we come down, we come to their level, we also come down. So raising that vibration higher, higher, higher. And sending love, good wishes. That is beautiful, Devananda.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
I love
Yamuna.
that.
Yes.
I love all your explanations. Wow, beautiful. I hope you also put this into practice, because this is lovely. I love it. With children, with people, with family members, relationships. Let us apply it, and definitely we will grow and feel good, and others will feel good as well. Thank you for being here, Devananda.
Thank you. Thank
Sending
you.
love and good wishes. Thank you all for being here. Hari Om. Thank you,
Hari Om.
Devananda.